Saram, a warm welcome to podcast series on innovation at Sri Sathya Institute of Higher Learning from the Institute's Innovation Council, IIC. Today, we are glad to have Professor S. Venketesh. Saram to you, sir. How are you doing today?
Sir, I'm good, sir.
Excellent.
We
Thank
have
you.
a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So, Professor S. Venketesh is the head of Department of Biosciences at Sri Sathya Institute of Higher Learning. And we're going to ask him some questions on themes. So, sir, in terms of the themes, we will be looking at the science with a signature, frontiers in genomics, research that responds, and we'll also look at very interesting insights in terms of the real-world research stories from you. And also towards the end, we look at your advice of the way forward, sir. So these are some of the themes that we're going to cover. For the audience, as such, sir, just wanted to give an introduction of you. Professor S. Venketesh pursued his Master of Science in Zoology and his PhD in Zoology from Institute of Science, Mumbai. Subsequently, he did his first postdoc at the Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru, on stress biology of malarial parasite, and second postdoc in the UK at the University of Leeds and University of East Anglia in purinergic signaling. Now, he then joined Sri Sathya Institute of Higher Learning, and his research group is interested in understanding the biological mechanisms that eventually lead to manifestation of different diseases. They use multidisciplinary and multifaceted approaches, which include clinical data, patient samples, multimodal MRI imaging, biophysical, biochemical, molecular biology, fluorescence imaging, yeast and cell cultural models, metabolomics, computational, and animal models to understand disease biology. Now, the group uses the metabolomic facility, Agilent Center for Excellence in Mass Spectrometry, to carry out analysis of clinical samples and samples from other models, and has forged extensive collaborations with clinicians as well as with institutions both in India and abroad. Some of the major diseases in which considerable progress has been include bone, glaucoma, eliminating disease like multiple sclerosis, as well as amyloid disease like Huntington's disease and ALS. And is currently head Department of Biosciences, Sri Sathya Institute of Higher Learning. So, very warm welcome to you and Sairam,
Thank
Professor
you very much,
Venketesh.
sir, for your generous introduction.
Most welcome, sir. So we'll jump into the first question, sir. If you had to give us a bird's eye view in terms of how has the Department of Biosciences evolved over the past few years in terms of teaching, research, and societal contribution, how would you describe that in your words, sir?
So to start with, sir, I stand on my predecessors. That is, my previous heads of the department as well as faculties have worked hard, and because of that, we were able to get major grants like DBT, BIF, DST, FIST, and UGC SAP.
Wow.
So this has enabled us to establish a well-equipped lab as well as a good teaching program. Our teaching initial emphasis of our university as well as the department was on teaching as well as on developing a impeccable character for the students, and this has eventually helped us to take a great leap forward in terms of research. So during the past 5 years or so, our department has ventured into advanced research like regenerative medicine in collaboration with Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Medical Sciences. In addition, like the faculties in bioscience extensively collaborate with our sister organization, which is the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Medical Sciences, Sri Sathya Sai General Hospital, as well as the mobile hospital. This has enabled us to get clinical data. In addition to that, we launched a PhD program where like clinicians will be co-guides for the students. This will enable us to bring about a big change in the form of a new breed of students who will be able to understand the health and disease just like a clinician. At the same time, also think like a basic scientist to understand mechanistic aspects, discover biomarkers and therapeutic targets. So this has been our growth in terms of research. So looking at after the liberalization and with the advent of AI and other technologies, like we have introduced and revamped our program to introduce two new programs, which are the bioscience and biotechnology, as well as the AI and computational biology. So these
Excellent.
courses has been designed in consultation with leading experts in India and around the world, as well as with industries, because one of the major theme that we wanted to also take care is to develop the valuable human resource that is very important for the growth of the nation.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for going in such details, sir. So, moving on, now what makes your department's approach to biosciences education unique in today's academic ecosystem, especially in the light of NEP and value-based learning, sir?
So one of the thing is, I remember what J.J. Thomson had said, to quote him, research in applied sciences lead to reforms, while research in fundamental science lead to revolutions, unquote.
Excellent.
And both reforms and revolutions are, so this is one of the reasons our course itself as biosciences and biotechnology, where you equip the students with fundamental knowledge of science and eventually help to translate his basic knowledge into technology and use it for human social progress. So this was one of the fundamental aspects that we have focused on that. And this, in addition, is also bolstered by the value-based education system that we follow at the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. So we want to develop a generation who are very responsible with impeccable character, as well as knowledge and skills that will help them immensely for the progress of humans, in lieu with the vision of our founder Chancellor Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba.
Excellent, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. And now, in terms of frontiers in genomics, one of our senior students actually requested me to ask you this question, sir. Could you walk us through the current trends in genomics and bioinformatics, especially in relation to identifying drug molecules for specific diseases, sir?
So we have reached a stage where it is possible to think about the precision medicine, because the genomics, the cost of whole genome sequencing has been. In addition to that, newer techniques have come, which has enabled us to have spatial genomics, as well as genomics in combination with other omic techniques, like a combination of transcriptomics, spatial transcriptomics with spatial metabolomics, and those kind of hyphenated techniques have already arrived. So one of the focus is like we get the clinical data from our hospitals. So one of my colleagues, Dr. Pradeep, has initiated a program where he's working on AMR, where he performed the whole genome sequencing of clinical samples, and these clinical samples are subsequently also tested for their sensitivity and resistance to various antibiotics, and subsequently by assays they are correlated with the genome sequencing and by gene expression analysis, etc. In addition to that, he has also developed a repository of over 10,000 clinical strains with the full clinical characteristic, which is being utilized. It is one of its kind in the country, which is being utilized by leading organizations around the world.
Excellent.
In addition to that, we are also working on whole genome sequencing and multi-omic, as well as functional genomic studies of neurodegenerative diseases, where we perform the whole genome sequencing, integrate it with metabolomic data and other clinical data, and then subsequently use computational technique to understand how different variations affect or modify diseases. Because in certain neurodegenerative diseases, despite the presence of the mutant gene, different patients exhibit different characteristic, severity, age of onset, etc. So the answer lies in this integrative analysis, and subsequently use model systems to validate our findings, and then go back to the clinical data to evaluate whether their contribution with respect to brain parameters, age of onset, severity, etc. So these are some of the things which are ongoing in the department, and we are also venturing into collaborations with various other institutes to as well as departments to bring about more knowledge into the field, like AI, actuarial sciences, using generative AI models, because as you know, some of the diseases like neurodegenerative diseases especially are very less, and we require generative AI for developing generating data without changing the data structure as such. So that is going
Absolutely.
to be the trend where we want to be.
Absolutely, sir. I think I just want to make a comment over here. The
In addition, we
advantage
also
of
with the
go ahead.
in DMAX, where we will be using this to understand the parameters that are and rank the parameters that are important to understand disease and their progression or prognosis. Thank you.
Absolutely, sir. I can see a lot of collaboration even within the ecosystem as such. So having Puttaparthi super specialty close by, and and super specialty in Bengaluru, and the general hospital as well in Parthi, and departments like actuarial science and DMAX and biosciences. I think all of the ecosystem, I guess, is actually helping you to do premier research, sir.
Yes, sir. In fact, we have a series of things to tell here, because the mobile hospital visits the same village every month. So we have access to a population which we receive or which we revisit every month, and hence the data, time course data, is easy to collect from this population. In addition to
Absolutely.
that, the local population comes to Sri Sathya Sai General Hospital, where we have access to these people, and this population is also referred to the super specialty hospital, where we can do follow-up of these patients. In addition to that, India has a heterogeneous population when it
Yeah.
comes to different states. So many of this population also visit the super specialty hospital, and we have a very good integrated health data system of the hospital, where it is possible for us to get the retrospective data of over 20 years, which could be
Wow.
utilized for research and analysis.
Absolutely,
So
sir.
these are some of the things that we have.
Absolutely, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for getting into a lot of details, sir. So coming to the next theme in terms of research that responds, sir, here the next two themes are basically story segments where real-world research stories have to be narrated. So how is the department ensuring its research addresses national priorities like rural health, agriculture, or sustainability? So can you actually narrate a real-world research story with societal or environmental impacts, sir?
Some of the things that I would say is with respect to AMR. So AMR is going to be one of the major problems as recognized by UN and other agencies, that it is a ticking time bomb, because the bugs have become resistant to most of the known drugs, and this is developing very fast. A drug takes around 14 to 15 years to come to the market, while the bacteria get resistant to that in a matter of 2 to 3 years.
Wow.
So one way of overcoming this problem is to develop methods where the antibiotics is used efficiently, it is prescribed properly, as well as there are no over-the-counter prescriptions
Sure.
for issuing the drugs. So somehow one of our faculty has developed a program where, if a person goes with a UTI infection to the hospital, they will be just asking the normal questions that a doctor asks, and it takes hardly 2 minutes. So when the questions are answered, the program comes up with a proposal as to what is the bacteria that has infected the person, what are the antibiotics for which it is sensitive to and it is resistant to. It provides
Right.
this list, and this is 93% accurate compared to less than 70% accurate what is available in the market. And
Excellent.
this has been provided free to the Doctor Care portal, and Syngene Biotech is commercializing it. So this is one
Wow.
of the success stories from the department. In addition to that, we are also working on diet-based approaches. We are especially inspired by our founder chancellor's word that you are what you eat. So to a greater extent, your diet controls as to how your body or your mind or your neurons or other organs are going to behave. So based on our research, we have arrived at vitamins as well as natural products, which could be in a with which it could be possible to confer neuronal protection. And as a result of that, delay the onset of disease. So we are
Great.
at a very advanced stage of clinical trial, and in collaboration with food and nutrition, we are developing functional foods utilizing our findings. So it becomes very affordable for the
Absolutely.
people. So
Absolutely.
these are some of the progress that we have made currently in the department. Uh, Further, to understand the environmental aspects of this, we have collaborated with chemistry department. One of our colleague is working on atmospheric pollutants, especially with respect to PM 2.5. And people already know that PM 2.5 is a risk factor for ALS. And interestingly, in India, the ALS affects a person 10 years earlier compared to that in Europe, which may be ascribed to environmental factors. So
Right.
using our model system, East model system, we have demonstrated that mere addition of PM 2.5 is sufficient to cause aggregation of TDP43. Now we are addressing the mechanistic aspects of the disease, so that we are interested in coming up with prophylactic agents which will confer neuroprotection in individuals living especially in polluted cities and who have a genetic predisposition for ALS or other neurodegenerative diseases.
So can you describe a bit more about ALS as such?
So ALS or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis is a incurable disease, and one of the major problem is 90% of this disease is not genetic, it is sporadic. And environmental factors plays a major role in manifestation of this disease.
Right.
So what we have basically done is we have utilized the clinical data from our hospital, performed metabolomics, and also we have used yeast as a model system and mammalian system as a model system, where we have shown that addition of metabolites from these deregulated pathways is sufficient to cause protein aggregation. Currently, we are in the process of going into the Drosophila models, where we would like to use the Drosophila model and supplement it with various vitamins to bring about metabolic homeostasis. The eventual aim is to cap and roll back the disease.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, again. So coming to mentoring the scientists within a team, how do you guide students not just as future scientists, but as ethical, reflective, and community conscious citizens, sir? So can you narrate any student or mentorship story that reflects this deeper mission, sir?
So one of the thing is that the Sathya system is ingrained with values, ethics, and morality that makes students very good citizens in the future. So Swami has given lot of emphasis and and has said that the end of education is character. So
Yeah.
once you build that character, the ethics, values, morality, everything is ingrained in that, and that ethics is not limited to ethics of treating people or other things. It also involves research ethics and hard work and those kind of things. So this
Absolutely.
I felt has enabled our student to perform very well, both in academics as well as in extracurricular activity, as we believe that education is for life and not just for a living.
Absolutely, sir.
So
Absolutely,
this
sir.
is one thing, and we can also say that there are first UG students from our place who are encouraged and motivated by our faculties, who have done well in academics and who have presented papers or in international conferences. Some of them have also got fellowships from EMBO to present their posters in these conferences. So
Excellent.
the Sathya Sai system ensures that the students do well in academics as well as extracurricular activities, and they acquire all the skills necessary in their life and come out as successful citizens who contribute immensely to human social progress, which is in lieu with our founder chancellor's mission that science should serve the society.
Absolutely, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much. And coming to the last segment in terms of the way forward, so if you had to leave our young listeners with one message about the future of biosciences, what would it be, sir?
As Erwin Schrodinger said, that biology is too important to be left to biologists alone. So it has become a transdisciplinary science where contributions from different fields, including chemistry, physics, mathematics, computer science, food and nutrition, etc., comes together to contribute to biology and progress it forward. So it is a field where mankind is now in a position to think of capping and rolling back aging,
Hmm.
a solution for aging, to provide better quality of life, to have food self-sufficiency around the world, etc. So it is a field where man can almost play God, and you don't want to lose the opportunity. This
Yeah,
is a message like which I would like to leave to the students, that
absolutely, sir.
there are plenty of opportunities in bioscience, complicated problems to solve, very interesting and intriguing. So you would never want to miss this opportunity that bioscience offers to you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, Professor Venketesh. Thank you so much. This particular podcast series is actually branded as Innovation with a Purpose from Sri Sathya of High Learning Institute's Innovation Council as such. And
Yeah.
we dealt with roots, research, and relevance today in terms of the biosciences we need, where campus curiosity meets community impact. So typically, I think I go back to the goal and objective of actually having this particular podcast, sir, basically
Yeah.
to highlight how the Department of Biosciences at Sri Sathya of High Learning is fostering research that is rooted in Indian values, relevant to today's global challenges, and transformative for both students and society. So, and I would congratulate you by saying that you met all the objectives in terms of you explore the department's unique pedagogy, mission, and growth. You actually spotlight real-world research that benefits communities with a lot of examples. You also celebrated faculty-student mentorship and cross-disciplinary innovation. And I think you inspired students to pursue science with purpose, humility, and seva bhava, sir. So, Professor, thank you so much for sparing time today. And it's been very revealing in terms of what the department is doing and the kind of impact it's having on the society is immense. Thank you for representing the department today,
Thank you
Professor
so much.
Venkatesh, and we'll meet you again, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.